authentic?
Yes.
Or do you believe it's another
Yes.
one of those, a Florida man?
No, I mean, is there any reason to believe that cows can't swim? Or that cows can't stay up in the... I don't know.
Maybe not.
I mean, like horses, I think, can swim. Dogs can swim.
Yeah.
So maybe a cow can swim. I don't know. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Timberwolves try to even things up with the Thunder. The Panthers and Oilers are rolling. And Ronald Acuna Jr. is a hit in his return to the Braves. But we begin today with the Knicks coming back from 20 points down in the first half to beat the Pacers in Indiana, 106-100. Karl Anthony Towns had 20 points in the fourth quarter alone. No home team has won a game in this series so far. Wilbon, what does this win mean for the Knicks, and does it cause you to question the Pacers?
Good questions, Tony. It means everything for the Knicks. The Knicks go down 3-0, get out of town. They're done, and all the celebration in New York that's taken place already before the conference finals even end would appear unbelievably stupid. But the Knicks stood up to that moment. And Karl Anthony Towns is the easy person to identify because he had 20 points in the fourth quarter. Hit a great fourth quarter for any era, any time, any place. He did. But this starts with Tom Thibodeau because he looked down the bench, actually looked at the players who then probably had to introduce themselves. Hey, coach, I'm Landry Shamet. I've actually played in some big games. How about putting me in? And Tibbs did this. And I think it gave the Knicks sort of a collective sense, Tony, that even when they were sort of struggling at times, when Jalen Brunson was off the floor, right, they were able to stay together and get this ensemble contribution. And Jalen talked about this afterward. And I think that was critical. Does it cause me to reassess the Pacers? Not yet. Not yet. I want to see what happens in game 4 and if they can hold a lead, if they build it. But I'll start with crediting the Knicks, was starting with Tom Thibodeau and moving down through Karl Anthony Towns and others. And by the way, people thinking, oh, Karl Anthony Towns doesn't do this consistently. No, he's not Wilt. He's not Russell. He's not Tim Duncan. Players don't do these things consistently in a series. You get a great game or two. If you get a second or a third one, that's a bonus, and maybe you win the series. He's not Michael Jordan. He's not going to have 6 games like this. People need to pay attention. Great night for Karl Anthony Towns and the Knicks.
Yeah, so I think that this is more about the Knicks than it is about the Pacers. The Knicks have been a very good team all year. The Knicks were slightly better than the Pacers. They had one more win in the regular season. And then the Pacers went into Madison Square Garden and won games 1 and 2, which was tremendously embarrassing for the Knicks. So by coming back from 20 points down and winning a game, the Knicks are saying we're not dead yet.
Right.
Right? It is. I found out today it's the third time in the playoffs so far in this season that the Knicks have come back for 20 or more on the road. So they're not going to be an easy out. But I have this one caveat. This is exactly what happened in the last series that Indiana played. When they played Cleveland, they went into Cleveland. They won games 1 and 2. They came home for game 3. They got blowed out by 22. And then they won game 4. And then they won game 5 and the series. So this could be deja vu all over again. I don't know what this game means for the series. But if you surmise, and you surmise correctly, that the Knicks showed us what they had in game 3, I think it's particularly appropriate to think that the Pacers will show us what they have in game 3.
Tony, and that's perfectly fair. It is. It turned this into a series, by the way. So you're not one of the New Yorkers, native New Yorkers, going around saying Knicks in 6? You're not doing that like half the fan base?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Not me. No.
Because you and I have seen decades and decades of basketball. Nothing's decided yet. Over in the West, the Thunder and Timberwolves are back on the floor tonight for Game 4 in Minnie. The T-Wolves won on Saturday by 42. A huge turnabout from the opening 2 games in OKC, which the Thunder just dominated. Tone, do you like Minnesota's chances of tying the series tonight?
All right, so bear with me on this rant of sorts.
Okay.
I think that in many series, the most important game is game 4. Now, not in a series like we have in the NHL with Florida and Carolina that's 3-0, and it's certainly not as important as a game 7. But in a series like this, in a 2-1 series like this, I think that it goes a long way to determining who wins. If you get it to 2-2, then you've held serve, then the home court advantage exists again, and then it's like the first 4 games didn't get played at all. But if it goes to 3-1, that's different. That tilts the playing field. You can get to 3-2 from 3-1 easily, but it's very hard to get from 3-1 to 3 wins in a row and win the series. That's a hard thing to do. I like Oklahoma City. I think they were significantly better during the regular season than Minnesota. I am mindful, Mike, that that's a 42-point win. It's an enormous win.
Huge.
But a lot of coaches will tell you, I'd rather get beat by a lot than get beat late by a little. Minnesota is at home. You and I both know the old cliche, which is true. The series doesn't start until the home team loses. So do I think Minnesota's going to win this one? I don't.
Ooh.
But I think you do.
I do.
I think you do.
I do. We have honest disagreement here. I'm not about to get chesty about it. I mean, the playoffs have been fairly unpredictable for the NBA, where usually you're looking to have your beliefs confirmed. Not necessarily so in these series we've seen so far. Tony, Oklahoma City is not yet a great team. They're trying to become one. And if they win one with this personnel and they keep most of these guys together, the nucleus, they're going to become a great team. Whereas a year from now, they will take people out and there will be no times where they appear vulnerable, but they're not there yet. And Minnesota may be as close to that point as OKC, because Minnesota did this last year. They beat the defending champs, Denver, and then they got to the conference finals and lost, obviously, to Dallas. Tony, I think Minnesota at home will win. I think that when you have Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle playing effectively together at home, they can pile up another big win. I do believe that.
So here's my feeling. I understand my exposure here because I'm tossing away Game 3.
Yes.
I'm tossing away a 42-point game. I'm tossing away the fact that collectively the starters on Oklahoma City, I believe, totaled 49 points in Game 3 and shot something like 15 for 39, like it wasn't good at all. So I understand my exposure. I just have liked Oklahoma City for a long time. We move to hockey, where Edmonton beat Dallas 6-1 yesterday to take a 2-1 lead in their series. Florida is up 3-0 over Carolina and can sweep that series tonight at home. Wilbon, does a Stanley Cup final rematch now feel inevitable to you?
Yeah, half of it feels more than inevitable. Half of it is like, can we just call this? You know, like in the Little League, where you get a 10-run slaughter rule, or AAU basketball, where you get whatever points you get. That's it. Game's over now. That appears to be the case with the Panthers. I mean, unbelievable. Yeah. Tony, and I don't use this word, but they've humiliated Carolina. They really have.
That's right.
They smacked them around. They beat them in terms of just on the scoreboard and then smack them around like a rag doll and say, we're tired of you people. Get out of here. And Carolina goes whimpering back to the bench. And it's really, I would think, if you're a part of that organization, embarrassing, or it ought to be. That is not the case with the Edmonton series, but Edmonton does feel in control right now. And when they scored those goals, bang, 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 last night, and you have Connor McDavid, where he doesn't even have to score the goal. He doesn't have to be the play's finisher. He can start it, and he can still have great goals like that short-sided shot he put in the net last night at 100 miles an hour. Yeah, it feels inevitable to me.
Yeah, so I don't know if it feels inevitable to me, but I do know that is the series I would like to see. These are explosive teams. They score a lot of goals. Over the course of the season, I believe that Florida scores 4.07 goals, Edmonton 3.97. Florida is crushing Carolina.
Killing them.
That score is 16-4 in 3 games. That plus 12 is the widest margin ever in a conference final. And Edmonton in the last 2 games has outscored Dallas 9-1. So, I mean, I don't. This doesn't happen that often.
No.
You have to go back to 2008 and 2009 when the Red Wings and the Penguins went back-to-back in the Stanley Cup Final Series. It's a long time. So I think it's a pretty big deal. And it's a really big deal because you get in Florida the defending champions, and you get in Edmonton a team with the greatest player in the league. So, I mean, to me, if I'm the NHL, that's the final I want. Without question, right? I want that
It's the final you want, and it's the final you're going to get. I don't see either one of the teams over. Look, Dallas has a much better chance of climbing back in because there's only one game difference.
Sure.
And challenging Edmonton and winning that series. No doubt about that. But, Tony, Carolina, wow. Talk about dead in the water.
Carolina, for those of you keeping score, has now lost 15 straight. Ooh. 15
conference
straight
games.
Conference. It's time to find out what's popping with the populace. Let me see what's first. Put on my glasses. What's the word for Ronald Acuna Jr.'s return to baseball weekend?
Okay, Tony, to recap for people who might have been paying attention to something else. On Friday versus the Padres, the first pitch as he leads off the bottom of the first, a 460. This comes almost 12 months to the day after he tears up his knee, has to miss the year. And then and by the way, he also threw out a runner at second. I mean, take a look at this throw. Are you kidding me? This has Roberto Clemente written all over it. Then on Saturday, Acuna hits another home run in that at bat. And on Sunday, there's a near outfield assist. We're going to see that coming up, where he throws just a bullet and almost throws a guy out. I mean, Tony, my word is fictional. You don't have this kind of return. It's a script that's written. It doesn't seem real. And yet, in that uniform, by the way, the Braves should wear those all the time. The guy is so spectacular. He's a superhero so far in that first weekend.
Yeah, so I have 3 words, and my words are where you've been. Because Acuna came back and started to play like his hair was on fire.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, first pitch home run, which I got used to seeing from Shohei Ohtani, but I hadn't seen it in a long time from Acuna because he'd been out for a whole year. First pitch home run, 467 feet, throws a guy out, hits the home run the next day. I think you may have shortchanged the throw yesterday that almost got Manny Machado.
Yeah.
It's the second highest velocity of any throw
velo
on an assist situation right all year. And it is a great throw.
Great throw.
So here's the thing. I pay attention to this division because the Nats are in this division. When the Braves don't have Acuna, they're an okay team. They're a 500 team. They're not a great team. If you give him a full year, they are a perennial playoff team. He is a difference maker.
Yeah.
Ohtani is a difference maker. Judge is a difference maker. You know, Mookie Betts, like he's on the short list of actual difference makers.
Former MVP, very recent. By the way, Cubs and Nats, I think, next week. I'm going to your ballpark, and I'm wearing an Ernie Banks jersey, and I dare anybody to say anything to me.
No one's going to say anything to you because they expect you to do that.
Good.
That or a Northwestern jersey.
No,
Here's
Ernie
the next
Banks.
question. Biggest first-round exit at the French Open, Taylor Fritz, Emma Navarro, or Naomi Osaka?
Okay, to recap again, Taylor Fritz, the number 4 seed, goes out to an unseeded player. Number 4 seed, boom, right out of there. Then also, you've got Emma Navarro, who is the number 9 seed, doesn't just go out, goes out in 57 minutes, love and won to an unseeded player. And then Naomi Osaka, of course, a 4-time slam winner. She loses, but she loses to the number 10 seed, Badosa. That's hardly an embarrassing loss, even though she seemed crushed by losing in the first round later, because she's used to playing deeper in the tournament than the other two, than Fritz or Navarro. And it's a tough comeback, Tony. But I'm going to just say this real quickly. This reminds me of when Monica Seles came back. It took a while, took a long time. And Monica never really got all the way back, but she got to finals, I think, a couple of times. And Osaka's going to have to be patient with herself in this comeback. I love seeing her. You know, she's my favorite player out there, but I know this was difficult for her to internalize.
I know she's your favorite player out there. You don't get a lot of chance to see her because she's out all the time. She's out early. She has not been past the 3rd round in a major since she won her last major, the Australian Open of 2021. So her going out is not a big deal. Emma Navarro, as you say, love and won in 57 minutes. I think maybe she got an hour of free parking and saw she only had 3 minutes left to go get the car, so she got out of there. The answer here is Taylor Fritz, and I keep wanting to say Taylor Swift, but it's Taylor Fritz, because he's the 4, which means they projected him into the semifinals. He went out to the number 66 player in the world, Daniel Altmaier. when a 4 goes out on the first day, it's different than a 9.
Yeah,
it's
but that
different
guy
than
beat
somebody
Sinner.
who used to be good.
That guy beat Sinner.
I
That guy beat
understand,
Sinner. Come here,
but
let me
not
ask you this
this
real
year.
quickly. Who's the biggest
not this
star
year.
of the 3 people? Taylor Fritz, who's never won squad douche,
Oh, no,
as he used to say, Emma Navarro,
Osaka
or
is the
Naomi
biggest-
Osaka. Thank you.
Osaka is the biggest star.
That's the biggest
you know
deal.
who's a bigger star than she is? Serena Williams, and she's not playing anymore. You just can't go by star.
Okay.
It's not how it works. Enough email.
It is how
Let's
it
take
works.
one last break.
Star.
Still to come. Tyrese Halliburton's father learns whether he'll be able to watch games in person again.
If you're lucky, I'm not the commissioner. Team USA in hockey does something it hasn't accomplished in 92 years. There was Team USA. There was National Hockey